Okay, welcome back to example number 2. We're going to solve this one the exact same way that we solved the last one. So we are going to identify our like terms, and then we're going to go through and solve the problem. But then once we get our answer, we're going to go back and plug it in to make sure that we've got the answer correct. So the first step that I always do when I've got an equation that has an equal sign is I draw my line so I make sure that I keep it balanced on both sides. And now I'm going to read through and see if I have any like terms. So remember, a like term is going to be a term that has the same variable to the same power. So I've got negative 2m plus 4m plus 5 equals negative 3. So on the left side, I do have two like terms. So I'm going to shape code. I've got negative 2m, so I'm going to include that negative sign. And I've got positive 4m. They both have an m to the first power. But then 5 and 3 do not have an m, so I'm going to give them a different shape. So our first step is to combine those two like terms. So I've got negative 2 plus 4. So a negative 2 plus 4, we've got opposite signs. So I'm going to subtract. So negative, or 2 and 4, 4 minus 2 is 2. And then 4 is bigger, so I'm going to keep that positive. So it's positive 2m. And I'm going to bring down my positive 5 equals negative 3. And now, because that 5 is not attached to the 2m, I'm going to move the 5 to the other side by doing the inverse operation. So the opposite of plus 5 is to subtract 5, so I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides, which will cancel this out. So I'm going to bring down 2m equals, and now I need to simplify negative 3 minus 5. They're both negative, so I'm going to add 3 plus 5 is 8, and because they're both negative, I'm going to keep it negative. The last step is to look at 2. This is now just a one-step equation. The 2 is being multiplied by m. This did an operation. So the opposite of multiply is to divide. So to move the 2 times 2 to the other side, I can divide by 2 on both sides, canceling out this. So I'm left with just m. M equals negative 8 divided by 2. So now we need to use our multiplication division rules. So a negative divided by a positive makes a negative. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we're getting that m is equal to negative 4. So let's plug that back in and see if that's a true statement. So we've got negative 2m plus 4m, 5 equals negative 3. So we want to plug in, instead of m, every time we see m, we want to plug in negative 4. So negative 2 times negative 4 plus 4 times negative 4 plus 5, is that equal to negative 3? So now we've got a bunch of simplification to do. So let's start with negative 2 times negative 4. A negative times a negative makes a positive, and 2 times 4 is 8. So I've got positive 8. Then I've got positive 4 times negative 4. So a positive times a negative makes a negative. And then 4 times 4 is 16. Bringing down my plus 5, my question mark equals sign. So now I'm going to combine 8 minus 16. So positive 8, I'm going to put the positive to help us out with our integer operations. So because they're opposite signs, we're going to subtract. So 16 minus 8 equals 8. And 16 is larger, so we're going to be in the negative because 16 is negative. Bring down positive 5. equals negative 3. So now we're going to combine negative 8 and positive 5. So they are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract. So 8 minus 5 is in fact equal to 3. And then 8 is larger, and 8 is negative, so it's going to be negative 3. Does negative 3 equal negative 3? Yes, it does. So m equals negative 4 is the correct answer.